Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today I can tell you that we have a debut for GoodCity on the channel. And this has incredibly simple rules, this puzzle, and a wealth of great feedback. And it's called Thriller. And the simple premise, you can see we've got loads of killer Sudoku cages in the grid. Every single killer Sudoku cage, if the clue was given, would have a 3 in it. That's it. So this cage could be 13, I suppose. It can't add up to 3, or 23. This one could be 30. Could be 23. Could be 13. Could be a variety of things. Clearly, yeah. And that's all the rules. So I love puzzles like this, where it's just an incredibly simple rule set, but whatever GoodCity has done to execute this has led to lots of people recommending it to us, and yeah, it should be good fun. I think it's got 3 stars out of 5 difficulty, so well, I don't know what that means, to be honest, but this is the puzzle we're going to try in today's video. Now, before I do that though, I did an appeal yesterday when I tried this puzzle by the Cogito, Onion. It's a 5-star out of 5 rated puzzle, and I wondered whether there was a quick way of solving it. And I have to give a shout out to Fool on Hill, because they dropped me an email yesterday, and the logic that they found, which I suspect others will have found as well, but it made me feel very cross with myself, because it's so absolutely cutting. It's really, really incisive, and if I'd seen it, I think the video might have halved in length yesterday. So let me explain what that trick is to you, and we can all basically give Fool on Hill a round of applause. So for those of you it's best to watch the video. I'm not going to explain all the rules again, but the key point is that the coloured cells around the grid, so ignoring these black cells here, you can see each colour can clearly only take 1 of a digit in, and that means each colour, so if we take purple, red, yellow, green and blue as a set, any high digit that we wanted to put into those colours, we could only put 5 of them into those colours, because we could put 1 in purple, 1 in red, 1 in yellow, 1 in green, 1 in blue, but that would be it. So let's think about what it would mean to have, for example, if we decided 9 needed to be in a circle in this puzzle, then the coloured cells could only take 5 9s, so we'd have to put 4 9s into the remaining black cells. Now you can do that. It is possible to put 4 9s into the remaining black cells. It's tricky, but those 2 would have to be a 9, and one of these would be a 9, and one of these would be a 9. But then what breaks the bank is you say, okay, well, what do you do with the other high digits, 6, 7 and 8? Now, you can only miss out one of them, because remember there were 36 circles. So we know that the digits that are missing from circles in the puzzle sum to 9. So if we do leave out, if we do include 9 in a circle, then we have to leave out a 6, a 7 or an 8. And whichever ones are left in circles, we've only got 2 black cells to cater with the surplus over 5 that we need to deal with. So for example, if we decided that 6 was in circles, then we could put 5 6s in the colours, and we'd have to put 1 6 into one of those 4 squares. And now we've got 7 and 8 to deal with. Well, only one of those could be left out, but whichever one of 7 or 8 needed to be in a circle, 7 would take up 2 of these, because we could only put 5 7s into the colours, and 8 would take up 3 of them, which is even worse. So whatever you do, there are simply not enough circles if you do decide that 9 is circled for the puzzle to work. And I think if I thought to focus on the high digits rather than the low digits, I got distracted, because I could appreciate that, you couldn't put lots and lots of 1s, or 2s or 3s or 4s in the colours, and I got waylaid thinking about that. If I'd managed to sort of dislocate my thinking and think about high digits, I would have got this point relatively quickly, I think. And then the puzzle, once you realise 9 can't be in a circle, well, I think the puzzle becomes a lot easier. So anyway, mea culpa. I'm sorry. And I've thought some of you who have tried the puzzle especially, or who've watched the video and noticed that point, or didn't notice that point, would appreciate a little bit of Foulon Hill's brain there to share with you. Other news, we are going to be streaming this coming week. We're going to be doing Hexcells, which do I have a picture of? I'm not sure I do, actually. I might have. Yes, I do. I made a thumbnail earlier. I wasn't sure if I'd prepared it for the video, but there we go. Hexcells is what we're going to be doing, which is a sort of Minesweeper game. So Minesweeper, but with hexagons, I think is the best way to describe it. It's been recommended to us loads and loads of times over the years as a game we really should stream. Well, we're going to try and scratch that itch. 10 o'clock UK time on Wednesday night. We'd love to have your company if you're free. Other news over on Patreon, we've got my monster solve of COASTER NURIKABE by the Cogito. We've got our monthly competition, which has still got 1 week to run. All the fun of the fair. Do check that out. And then I've got some birthdays to do. Let's say happy birthday to Lars, who's turned 34 today over there in Uppsala in Sweden. And I know it's your birthday, Lars, because your partner Blake wrote to us and told us that you've been watching for about 2.5 years. And you've now even convinced Blake to watch a little bit too now. So, Lars, well done on that. I hope you have a great birthday today with, of course, lots of cake. Chocolate cake with massive amounts of icing. Next, Joel, who wrote to us and told us that Joel is in Mexico and was kind enough to say that our videos help bring a little bit of a cheer to life. And Joel, I know it's your birthday today. I'm not sure how old you are, but many, many happy returns. I hope that today is full of fun and cake. And then finally, Evie has turned 18 today. And I know this because your good friend Matthew wrote to us and said you'd appreciate a shout out, Evie. So many happy returns to you too. And I hope your day is full of puzzles and, of course, sweets in the form of cake. There, I've said it. Now, let's have a look at Thriller by GoodCity. Thriller being, I think, a portmanteau of 3 and Killer. These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits in a cage do not repeat, and then the digit 3 has to appear in each cage total, i.e. the sum of the digits in any cage must be a number that either begins and or ends in 3. That's all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now I imagine we're going to have to make plentiful use of a secret today. In fact, maybe that's where I start because my eyes are being drawn to column 1. Right, yes, okay. Yeah, that can't be 23, 22. No, that doesn't work. Okay, yes, let's talk about the secret. So the secret of Sudoku, which is something I only share with my very favourite people. Of course, if you're watching this video, you're one of my favourite people. You're probably one of the few people I actually know. But the secret is that any row, any column, and any 3x3 box in a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. And if you sum those digits, you get 45. And that's the secret. Don't let on to anybody you don't like. So 45 is the sum of this column, and that has to be expressed, look, in cage totals that each have a 3 in them. So let's look at this top one. Well, clearly this can't add up to 3, can it? That's definitely not going to work. And it can't add up to a number that begins with a 3, so it can't be a 30-something number because the maximum 7, 8 and 9 add up to is 24. That's not big enough. So this has a units digit that is a 3. The sum of these 3 cells, and it's not 3 itself, so it could be 13 and it could be 23, but if it was 23, this cage would have to add up to 22, and 22 does not have any 3s in it, so it's not that. Whereas if this is 13, then this can add up to 32, and that does have 3s in it. So I've got no idea how to pencil mark this, but I can tell you that this adds up to 32 and this adds up to 13. So maybe, can we repeat that? Well, that sort of trick on this box, I'm not sure. So that's 13. Depends, doesn't it? Because, well, no. Oh, I was going to say it depends. It doesn't depend massively, actually. But yeah, okay, let's look at each of these little cages. Because clearly none of these little cages can be a 30-something cage. In other words, the units digit for this cage, and this cage is a 3. I don't know whether it's 13 or 3 or... Well, I know it's not 23 for that one, but it's clearly a 3. So that these 3 cages, if we sum their totals, we're going to get a number that ends in a 9, because we're going to have a 3 from this one, a 3 from this one, and a 3 from this one. But we know that the overall box adds up to 45, which is a number that ends in a 5. So that seems to me to indicate that the total of these 2 digits is a number ending in 6 to make sort of maths work, because 9 plus 6 is going to be a mod 10 is going to be a number ending in 5. So for example, 9 plus 6 is 15. So these add up to 6 or 16, therefore, because and these 3 digits add up to a number that ends in 3. Because this can't add up to 30-something. So if these add up to 6-something, then this has to be a 7. I think that's right. I mean, that's quite complicated, actually, but I think that's right. Because these add up to 6 or 16, this cage either, once we add this digit in, we either have to get to 13 or 23, and whichever one of those we're getting to, we're always adding a 7. So, now can we do this row then? What's going on in this row? Again, we're going to have 3, 3, 3, aren't we? Because, again, none of these individual cages can be a 30-something number. So these are going to add up to 9, or have a units digit. The sum of all those 7 digits is a number that ends in a 9. Once we add 7 to that, we go back to the beginning effectively and we clock over, and now we're on the number that ends in a 6. But the whole row ends in a 5. So that's a 9, I think. That must be right by sort of the mathematics of modularity. I hope that's clear to everyone. I mean, it's sort of clear to me, but I appreciate that not everybody probably works in modulo mathematics the way my brain works. But let's do an example. So let's say one possibility for these 3 cages was that they were each a 13 cage. Oh no, that's not going to work. That's going to make the total too high. In fact, that's interesting as well. Let's delete that digit and say one of these ends in 3 and is a 1-2 pair adding up to 3. Let's say that one was a 1-2 pair. Let's say that this was a 5-8 pair adding up to 13, and that this was some number of digits adding up to 13 as well, because this can't add up to 3. Then we would have 13 plus 13, that's 26, plus 3 is 29. As I said, these have to add up to a number that ends in 9. Once we add the 7 in, we're on 36. So this has to be a 9. And there's no way we can parcel this up in any other way. We're always going to end up here. We're going to end up with these digits ending in a 6 number. Now they can't add up to 26 because this would be a 19. So the best we can do is 36 and put a 9 here, which is basically going to be forced. But now I've noticed something else as a result of this. Because we've used up 9 and 7 in the row, each of these dominoes now can't be a 13 cage, because there are only 3 flavours of 13 dominoes in Sudoku. 4-9, that's ruled out, 6-7, that's ruled out, and 5-8, which is not ruled out. So one of these can be 5-8. The other is going to have to be a 3 cage, literally a 1-2 pair. So these are 1, 2, 5, 8. These squares are 3, 4, and 6 by Sudoku. There we go. Okay, so can we do this row now? Oh, actually no, this might be harder. Because this could be a 43 cage. If this is a 43 cage, so what I'm thinking is if this is a number cage that's over 40, given it's got to have a 3 in it, it's got to be 43. The whole row adds up to 45, and that would make that a 2. So 2 might be possible here. But if not, this will be a 30-something cage. Oh, but it could be 30 anything, basically. Well, it has to be a number, a 30-something number, such that this is valid. So 36 is the least it could be, because if these 8 cells added to 35, this would be a 10 to make the row add up. So 36 doesn't work because we'd have a 9 here. 37 does work, we'd have an 8 here. 38 doesn't work, we'd have a 7 here. 39 would give us a 6 here. So this is definitely even. And is 2, 6 or 8. That's absolutely hopeless, isn't it? Right. Okay. Okay. So can I use the fact that 9 has to be in one of those cells in box 1? I don't know. Let me think about that. So if 9 is in a dominoed cage, it's got to be a 13 cage, and it would be 9, 4. That must be true. But what about if 9 is in this cage? Then no, that doesn't work. Ah, yeah, I see. The way to think about this cage is it either adds up to 13 or 23. Because it can't add up to 30. It's only 3 digits. Now, it can't add up to 23 because there's only one way of making 23, which is 6, 8, 9. So it does add up to 13. That means that these 2 digits are either 1, 5 or 2, 4 because they have to add up to 6. Now, oh, okay, and now, because 9 is in one of these dominoes, that is a 4-9 pair, which rules out this from being 2, 4. This is beautiful, actually. This is 1, 5. One of these is a 4-9 pair. Neither of these... Yeah, this is great. This is great. Neither of these can now be a 1-2 pair, because the 1's been hypothecated to this domino. So the other domino up here is also a 13 cage that's not 5, 8, and it's not 4, 9. So these are 6, 7, 4, 9. These squares are 2, 3, 8, and 2, 3, and 8 add up to 13, and that's a very good thing. That square is now 6, because Sudoku has dictated that. So this cage added up to 39 in the end of the day, which is, well, is that interesting? I don't know. Maybe. What about that cage? That cage is not a 1-2 cage, so it's not adding up to 3. If it's a 13 cage, it's got to be 4, 9, and it's got to be in one order. 4 here, 9 here. And it can't be anything else. It can't be a 23 cage or a 30 cage, so that's a 4, 9 cage. Which means this is not a 4, 9 domino, which means this is not a 6, 7 domino. And that's going to mean that's... Oh, I see, sorry, the 7, 6 is resolved. Well, that's very nice. Okay. What about this column then? 1, 4, 5, 7. So that square is a 1 or a 5 by Sudoku. Not sure how we're really going to improve upon that. What we probably have to do here is to look for... Well, can we do maths on these 2 boxes? This is 2 complete Sudoku boxes, so these boxes add up to 90. 90 ends in a 0. We've got a plethora of 3-cell cages there, and 2-cell cages. Now we've learnt already that 2 and 3-cell cages in this puzzle, because there can't be a number that starts with a 3, they can't add up to 30. So each individually is going to be a number that ends in a 3. And they could be of any size, we don't know that. So we're going to have 3, 6, 9, 12. So we're back to 2 as the ending digit. So we need to get to 0 because that overall we're on a 90 number. So this ends in 8. If the units digit of this cage is an 8, and it can't be 28 for a very simple reason. 28 does not involve a 3. So this is a 38 cage, and it's 7 cells. So it's 38, it's 7 cells. If it was 9 cells, it would contain all the digits because cages can't contain a repeated digit, so it would add up to 45. So the 2 digits that are missing from this cage add up to 7. And they're either going to be 1, 6, 2, 5 or 3, 4. Now, how are we going to determine that? I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. So I've got to remember this is a 38 cage. So the other cages here are adding up to 52. Yeah, that's tricky though, isn't it? Because I could have 23 cages for the 3 sellers, and that would allow me to have a 1-2 cage for my 2 sellers. Basically, the average for these cages is 13. They add up to 52, and there are 4 of them. But we can create the same average by having a 3 and a 23 as having lots and lots of 13s. Alright, so I don't think I know what to do with that. What else is going to be easy then? Let's have a quick look. Can we get that digit? That feels like it's the same logic that we did up there. Is that wrong or is that... Ah, no, maybe it's wrong. That could be very wrong. Oh, that's vicious. Right. No, there is a big difference between this congregation of digits, or cages, I should say, and this congregation of cages. Because this 4-cell cage could add up to 30, only just, but it could add up to 30, and that was not the case here. So we've got to be much more careful. I mean, these cages individually are all going to end in a units digit that's a 3. So these 6 cells add up to something 9, don't they? Which means these cells add up to something 6. Well, that's... beautiful. So this is not a 30 cage. Yeah, it's not a 30 cage because we know that these 3 digits are either 6, 1, 2, 3, or 16, or, well, they can't be 26, but they have to have that units digit. So, if this was a 30 cage, what would this number be if these end in a number that ends in 6? Well, it would have to be a 4 because it can't be a 14. But that can't be a 4 and have this as a 30 cage because a 30 cage in 4 digits is 6, 7, 8 and 9. So this is not a 30 cage. This is a number ending in 3 cage. Right, and that means this is 7 again. Because again, let's just go through it again. These 6 cells add up to a number that ends in 9. These, therefore, to make 45 for the box, have to be a number that ends in 6. But this cage overall has to be a number that ends in 3. So to get from a 6 number back to 3, we're going to have to add on 7, aren't we? And so this could be, for example, if this was 16, this could be a 23 cage. That would work. That would give us a 7 here. And if this was 6, and this was trying to get to 13, then this would still be 7. So this is always 7, which is, oh, that's nearly interesting. We can nearly get 7 in box 7, serendipitously enough. 4 by Sudoku is in one of those, as, no, 6 is in one of these. This row, I feel less confident about that. I mean, these digits, okay, because that's not a 30 cage, we've worked that out, haven't we? Because these had to end in a 6. Yeah, that is right. This is not a 30 cage. We definitely established that. This is a number that ends in 3. This is a number that ends in 3, because that can't be a 30 cage. So these overall are a number that ends in 6. We've got to get to 45 for the row, so these have to add up to either 9 or 19. I can't do 19 in 2 digits. So these add up to 9. Right, they're not 4, 5, or 2, 7. Or 3, 6. They've 1, 8, I think. Oh, that's amazing. I'm just going to check that. So these add up to 9. 4, 5 is definitely ruled out. 2, 7 is definitely ruled out. Yeah, I think that's right. I think the only way of making a domino add up to 9 here is 1, 8. And the 1 is going to be in the corner. No song for it, but at least we get some digits. So that's a 5 now. So that's not a 5. Okay, so we must know these digits now. They're a 4, 7 pair, I think. And this box needs 1, 2, 3, and 8. And that's not 1 or 8. So this is 2 or 3, which means that's 2 or 3. So this is a 1 by Sudoku. Let me just show you what I'm seeing there. This digit here has to make an appearance in this box, but it can't repeat in its own cage. So it's not in these squares by Sudoku, it's not in these squares by cage logic, it's not a 9, and it's not a 4 or a 7. So I think it goes there. So that has to be a 1, I think. That feels logical, doesn't it? So now there's definitely now there's definitely the 3 in this box is in one of these 2 squares. So there's a 3 in one of those 3 squares. I was wondering if I could somehow colour my 2s and 3s, but that doesn't look propitious to me. What about... Can we get that digit somehow using the secret on this? Oh, it looks complicated to do that. So what have we got there? We've got 12, 21. So we're on 21, which means these have to add up to 22. But could that be a 30 cage? I don't know. Maybe I've got to pencil mark these digits in order to know more about the world. So 2, 3, 5, 6 is the only... Yeah, is that right? 2, 3, 5, 6? I think so. So the maximum these could be would be 3, 5, 6, which is 14, 15, 23. No, okay. So this is either... Well, this can't be a 13 cage. There's too many digits in it. It's 8 plus at least 4 digits. The triangular number for 4 is 10, so it's at least an 18 cage straight away. So and it can't get to 30, so it is a 23 cage. So these do add up to 22. That's not right, though, is it? Didn't I say I needed all of those to add up to 22? I think I've gone mad. I must have got my maths wrong. Let's go do this again. So I've got 11, 12, 21. So I need 24 for these. I don't know what I said last time, but I felt like I said 22. I need 24 for these, and I know these add up to 22. So that is a 2. That's a 3. That's a 2. That's an 8. That's a 3. This is a 5, 6 pair, and that's wonderful, I think. These don't include 8. Oh, hang on. That's massive. I mean, this has to be a cage that's got a 3 total in it, so it's got to be a 13 cage, I think. And that gives me a 1, 2 pair, and oh yes, I remembered we did logic on this row. So once I got the 8, I knew I had to accompany that with a 5. Right, so there's definitely a 1 over here now. There's definitely a 5 over here by Sudoku. This has to be a 13 cage, doesn't it? So 9 in this row can't go in this cage anymore. So there's a 9 over there. So do we now know what the totals? Well, this must be a 23 cage, mustn't it? Yeah, we know this isn't a 30 cage, and it's got 16 in it already. So the other 2 digits are going to take it to 23. And they have to be 16, 23. We need 7 more. It's got to be 3, 4, 9. And therefore these have to be 5 and something. 5 and 6, is it? Yeah, that's fine. 5, 6 and 2 do add up to 13. So this one's working. This one's working. Now these squares add up to 16. So these add up to 29, which means we've got a 1, 2 pair and two 13 cages, which have got to be 5, 8 and 6, 7. Now, do we know what the order of those is? I feel like I ought to know that, and I can't see how to do it, which is total ineptitude on my part. I'm so sorry, I can't see how to do that. I might be able to get that digit just by maths on this box, I feel. So what have we got at the moment? We've got 18. Okay, so if both of these were 13 cages, then we'd have 26 and 18, which is 44, and this would be a 1. So that's step 1. This can't be a 23 cage because 6 isn't available to it. So the maximum these can be is 2 13 cages. But what would happen if one of these was a 3 cage? Then the other would have to be a 13 cage. That doesn't feel like it works now. Hang on. Has my maths gone wrong? These 16. No, that doesn't work. This is always 1 or 10, isn't it? That's where my modulo maths is telling me. 1 or 11, sorry. I'm just surprised by that. That feels right. 18 here. I mean, the way to do this, I suppose, is to say, because none of these can be 30 cages, these add up to 6, don't they? And a number ending in a 6. Once we add 6 to 18, we've got a number ending in a 4. And we need a number ending in a 5 for the box. So modulo maths is just telling us that digit's a 1. Sorry, that's total and utter stupidity on my part. So what's this cage? That's got to be a 13 cage now, doesn't it? It can't be a 3 cage, it can't be a 23 cage, so it is a 13 cage. These 2 digits have to add up to 12, and they don't use 4, 8 or 5, 7, so they must be a 3, 9 pair, and if that's a 3, 9 pair, that becomes a 6. Okay, so now we know these digits in the middle of the box, which are 4, 7 and 8, and that means we know these digits, which are 1, 5 and 9, and that means we know these digits, which are 2, 7 and 8. Now, did all that work? So this one adds up to 23. That's beautiful. That's exactly what it should add up to. And what have we got left down here then? We worked out this had to be 2 13 cages, didn't we? Because that's what gave us a 1 here. Right, so this cage can't be 5 8 and it can't be 6 7. So that's 4 9 and we know the order. Beautiful. So that's 9, that's 4. This is an 8 naked. It sees 7 below it. These squares have got to be 2, 3, 3. I can do the 3. That means I can do the 2, I can do the 8, I can do the 3, I can do the 9. I can do the 5, I can do the 6. Okay, and what are those? They're 2, 3 and 5 by a process of Sudoku. I mean, GoodCity, fancy making me do more Sudoku in your Sudoku puzzle. Quite ludicrous. Okay, can I get that digit now by modularity? I'm going to reassert my application, my dedication to modularity. I've got 0 there. 2, 3 and 5 add up to 10. And then I've got 3 and 3 for these. So that's 6 overall, isn't it? And I've got to get, for the box, I've got to get back to 45. So that's got to be 9. I mean, it's 9 or 19 or something like that. And 19, last time I checked, was not a valid Sudoku digit. So that's 9. Now I can get these digits, can't I? Because I worked out this cage added up to, can't remember, want to say, I think it was 38, because didn't we decide 28 didn't have a 3 in it? I think we did decide that. So this adds up to 38, and at the moment I've got 19 in it, so I need 19 more. Yeah, this is right, because we said it was going to miss out 2 digits that added to 7. Well, it's not missing out 2, 5 and 3, 4, so it's missing out 1 and 6, which means I know what these digits are. They have, well, I have to have a 7 in, so that's got to be 7. And it's missing out 1 and 6, so it needs to have 4 and 8 in it. So that's a 4-8 pair, which nearly does things, look. Bobbins. Okay. So perhaps the question now is, okay, this cage can't be a 1-2 cage because 2's gone. So this is a 13 cage. It must be a 6-7. This puzzle's great. It's really, really great. It's just, it's not that difficult, to be honest, if you have the right approach to it, which I'm sure is to think about modularity. There's 9 down here. We'll probably need to think about that in a moment. But it's incredibly enjoyable and fun to solve. 4, 8, looking at this square. So that's 8. That's 1. So so this square in the corner has got the chance of being a 3 because it's 2, 3 or 5. That one's got a chance of being a 3 as well. So we've got 2 chances left for a 3 in the corner. We've got, that's not, where's 8 in that column? It's got to go there. So this has become a 2, 3 pair. And do we know what these cages are? We probably do if we give it any thought. They're both 3-cell cages, and neither can be 23 because 8's not available. So these are both 13 cages, one of which has a 9 in it. So there is a 139 cage somewhere here. Sorry, I'm just trying to see which one of these can't be 139. I would imagine if this is 139, that's 3, that's 1, that's 9. Oh, no, it doesn't quite break. Oh, it does a lot of damage. That would be 5, that would be 4. Okay, so if one of these is 139, what's the other one then? I want to say 256. So, I don't know actually. That doesn't feel very resolved to me. That's weird. Okay. So maybe I can do more down here. I can't remember what we did down here. What did we work out? We worked out these added up to 16. Yes, each one of these. Did we work out one of these was a 1-2 pair? Yeah, these can't all be 13 dominoes because 4, 9 isn't available. So one of these is a 1-2 pair. Which one? Yeah, there's a 1-2 pair, there's an 8-5 pair, and there's a 6-7 pair. Maybe it's Sudoku. Of course it's going to be Sudoku. Or is it? So if it's... well, this can't be a 1-2 pair. Maybe I've got to literally fully pencil mark it. So this is either 5-8. Oh no, this is 5-8. Because this one can't be 1-2 and it can't be 6-7. So that is just 5-8. That might be helpful. So that's 5, that's 6. That's 2. Doesn't seem to do very much. That's not 7. Okay. Oh, the 2 had to go with a 1, didn't it? Because we said there was a 1-2 pair somewhere. So that's a 1. That's not a 1. This is 6-7. So that's 7. That's 6. This is not 6. That's not. Oh, that's not 7. 2-8 pair. That's a 7. 8s are aligning here and here. So 8. That's quite helpful actually. Where does 8 go? In column 3 is the question. If you see this sort of arrangement of digits, where the same digit is locked into the same column, if you see what I mean. I don't know what the technical term for this is, but it's a simplistic X-wing. But it can also be viewed as giving you an insight into this column and saying where is the 8. And you can see now that the 8 in this column definitely can't be in these 3 squares. So it has to be in one of those 3 squares. But it also has to simultaneously be in this domino. So the only cell that's going to meet that criteria is this one. So that gives me a 3. Yeah, that's now a 9 at the bottom of the grid. So this should do it probably. He says that is totally bogus optimism actually. That's not 9 anymore. 2, 5, 8. 1, 2, 5, 8. Okay, so this is 1, 2, or 5. Sorry. Is this done somehow in a way that I can't understand? I don't know. What did I say the totals were for these? One of them was 139. Which could be this one still, 139. That would give me a 3 in the corner, so that would be quite welcome. And the other digits were 256 was the other. Ah, that's it, right. So it's not the 139, it's the 256, which you can't put there. Because if these little digits were 2, 5 and 6, what would both of those digits be? They would both have to be 8, and that won't work, will it? So actually, oh, this is bad. Well, it's not bad, but oh no, it's perfect because this is 139 now, and the only cell that can be. I thought I was going to say I wasn't getting a 3 in the corner. I am getting a 3 in the corner, and that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Okay, so these are a 1-9 pair. We know the order. So that's 9. That's 1. That's 1. That's 5. These squares now are 2, 5, 6. So that one seems to have to be 2 or 5. That one is 2 or and that one's 6. It's naked. It sees 2 there. It sees 5 there. So that's 6. This is 5. This is 2. This is 2. This is 3. This must all be resolved. Probably been resolved for ages, and everyone's been shouting at me. This is a 4. This is a 6. That's a 4. That's a 3. That's a 9. This is a 1. This is a 5. This is a 5. This is an 8. This is an 8. This is 2. That is fantastic. That is a fantastic puzzle. Wow. What a debut, GoodCity. Take a bow. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Very, it's a very simple idea, but executed with a lot of panache, and it's just really enjoyable, basically. It's really, really enjoyable. And I don't know now whether I definitely started in the right place. I think you could have started here even. Because I think these 7s were deducible in isolation. Maybe... yeah, then we got that digit, didn't we? I can't remember. I'm not sure. Be interested to read the comments. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.